Afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on what part of the world you're in. Welcome to the Black Consciousness Festival. And we are, for the month of November, going to be having exactly that. Conversations about what it means to be Black in this part of the world, in various parts of the diaspora, celebrating our pride, our power, and our practice. My name is Heather Mac Intosh. I am Trinidad and Tobago in the West Indies. I will the interpretation feature. Those of you who have joined us on Zoom, on the screen, there's an interpretation feature that you can click, because this evening I have with me one guest from Brazil and one guest from Haiti. So in case you are in need of interpretation, you click on the feature and you decide whether you would or whether you would like to hear it. Eu estou dizendo que lá embaixo tem o que pode apertar para decidir se quer escutar essa conversa ou em inglês ou em português. But welcome to everyone tonight. This evening we are joined by Emmanuela Douyon, who is an economist and an activist from Haiti, and we'll also be joined by Velluma Azevedo from Bahia in Brazil, who is a lawyer, an international relations person, as well as a dancer. So we'll be speaking to them about the conversation tonight, citizenship and the Black body. So I'd like to start by inviting Emmanuela to give us an opening salvo. Tell us who you are and why you think this is an important conversation for you to have with us this evening. Hi, I'm Emmanuela, how are you?
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm doing okay. Actually, this is a nice surprise. I'm not in Port-au-Prince, but I'm in another city, and I think it fits perfectly tonight's event because I'm in the city of Independence. This is exactly where we celebrated our independence more than 200 years ago in Haiti, and I was able to join so many events this week, like just the past few days. And yeah, I think it's really important to have. First of all, I forgot to talk about myself. I'm Emmanuela. I'm from
Hi, Emmanuela.
I'm an activist, like an anti-corruption activist. And me and my team, we launched the biggest and largest anti-corruption movement in Haiti, in the history of the country, actually. And besides this, I'm just a poor Haitian who happen to study economics, and I am the founder of a think tank, a development think tank. And I really think that tonight...
Eu sou a fundadora da Tecton, e uma das pessoas que estão na frente da Tecton.
To share our experiences, our vision of what it means to be Black, what it means to live in a Black body, what it means to what's the experience like in the part of the world where we're living, and to learn from each other and to promote our values and build something from this. And congratulations for organizing this festival. This is so important to have space like this. I won't speak too much. I will let the other panelists introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Manuela. E agora, Dona Velluma. So we go across to Bahia in Brazil, and we'd like to ask Velluma to say to us why she thinks that tonight's discussion is important. Tell us, first of all, who you are. For those of us who don't know Velluma, who is Velluma, and why is this discussion tonight important to Velluma? Velluma, you're still on mute. You need to unmute your mic, please, hon.
Agora estão me escutando legal?
Agora está.
Então, acho que é importante dizer de onde eu venho, me situar localmente. Eu sou de Salvador, Bahia.
Important to say from where I'm from Salvador, Bahia, the city that is the blackest outside the African continent.
Negro, por exemplo, governador negro. Estamos agora em época de eleição e mesmo com todas as dificuldades implicadas pelo racismo, nós temos ineditamente, de forma inédita, 3 concorrentes negros para a Prefeitura de Salvador, né? 2 mulheres negras e um homem negro. Então, apesar de toda a dificuldade, existe aí uma expressão da identidade negra dentro da cidade e uma modificação dessa identidade negra dentro da cidade. Então, esse é o meu primeiro ponto, o local onde eu estou. Hoje é dia de finados aqui no Brasil, então eu não posso deixar de falar quem veio antes de mim. E quem veio antes de mim é situado na ilha de Itaparica, construiu um quilombo e nós somos uma família negra da ilha de Itaparica, uma ilha muito próxima a Salvador, né? E que muitos deles vieram para cá, para Salvador, buscando melhores condições de trabalho, de vida. Mas existe grande parte que ainda se situa na ilha de Itaparica, né? Outra perspectiva é por que estamos aqui e da onde eu me insiro dentro dessa ideia de vocês, que é justamente a construção de um futuro sem esquecer a nossa identidade comum das Américas. É uma identidade de resiliência, uma identidade de superação, uma identidade de transformação de determinados institutos. Então, estamos aqui hoje para lembrar de um passado e uma eterna construção desse presente para um futuro muito mais cidadão. E daí a importância de se discutir cidadania, tanto do plano de vista nacional quanto do plano de vista internacional.
Muito bom. Thank you very much, Velluma, for that opening salvo. And if I can go back to Emmanuela now. Emmanuela, you are from Haiti. For those of us who don't know, Haiti was the first Black nation officially to gain its independence from the colonizers. So being Black in Haiti must mean something. Haiti represents for us all what Blackness is supposed to be. So can you speak to me about what it means to be Black in Haiti? What does a Black citizen in Haiti feel like? What does that mean to you?
First of all, like you mentioned it, we are the first independent Black republic in the world. So being Black in Haiti means we're proud, being proud of what we achieved, being proud of the length of the world we've traveled from Africa to Haiti, and facing and living in slavery and colonialism, and to get our freedom despite the odds. And there is a sense of pride that I think is dominant and is above everything else, because no matter how far or poor the country is, no matter how broken we can feel sometimes, no matter what the world think of us, like we have some president like Trump who qualify Haiti as a shithole country, and no matter what they say, there is still that sense that we are better, we worth something, we did something to the face of the world, and this, nothing can change, no one can take it away from us. But I'll say that it's not only about this. Being Black, being a Black Haitian means also that we're living in a body that knows hardship and beauty. And it means that we're living in a place where we often face violence. So, and we also know beauty. And I don't know if I'm having a lot of time to elaborate on it, but if we follow the news, for example, we are like very often on a survival mode because we have to face gang violence, police repression, and poverty, which is something we feel and we live in our body as well. But at the same time, Haiti is known for its carnival, the rhythm, the beauty, the body expression. And this is like a mixture of beauty and hardship. And I think I don't know to use the word that so many NGOs and international organizations are using, resilience. And we share our resilience, but not in the way they want to use it and promote it as we're resilient and we don't deserve better, but we face so much and we still carry ourselves with pride. And it's been resilient. We know what resistance means. And I don't know what else I could add at this point, but it's definitely
there's an image that has been projected of Haiti, of being poor and destitute. You who are on the ground, what really is Haiti like? Is it as bad as they make it look to us? So is this an image that they would like to portray so that we would believe that you all are in a worse state than you really are?
I think it's both. We sure have a lot of problems, definitely. There is no way we can deny this, and there is no way we can portray it a different way. But at the same time, Haiti is a land full of potential, full of opportunities. We just have been missing adequate leadership, adequate help from the international community, the countries that are the so-called friends of Haiti. But we do face our problem, lack of bad governance. This means that a lot of people are living in poverty, but at the same time, when you see the beauty of the country, the potential to produce so much to feed the people, for example. So we are victim of some bad press on one hand. We do have our problem on the other hand, but at the same time, the big picture is this is still a virgin land and full of opportunities. The Haitian population is really young. Most people are under 35. This means that with the right investment, the situation can change around really quick. Pretty much something like we've witnessed in some country in Asia, like Taiwan, Singapore. So, and this is all this poverty and all is result of bad governance, and it's not something that is impossible to change. And this is somehow what we activists in the younger generation we are trying to promote and we are trying to fight for, because this whole poverty thing in Haiti is such a pity because we have the beach, we are right in the Caribbean, potential for tourism, we have a large workforce that is skilled, we have some of the most qualified migrate abroad. A lot of them are Haitian. When they go to Canada, when they go to the US, this is skilled labor that go there. And this is all like potential that we can put to use to change it. We have the beautiful beaches that you see in other Caribbean countries that are better off than Haiti. And Haitians are like smart people, hardworking people. They just need to be offered the right opportunities to move forward.
Right. And Velluma, if I can say to you, if I can ask you, so Haiti is significant to this discussion because Haiti was the first independent Black nation. But Brazil is also significant to this discussion because Brazil has the largest population of Black persons outside of continental Africa. And that must mean something to this discussion of Black consciousness. So what does it mean to be Black in Brazil? Is being Black in Brazil something that is as glorious and wonderful and prideful as it is for Emmanuela and the other Haitians?
Sim, ser negro no Brasil, entender a história da negritude no Brasil
Yes, being Black in Brazil and understanding Black history in Brazil is something to be proud of because it's a subject of insurrection. It's a story of being able to prevail despite a lot of things. Uh, but but what stands out is the racism that happens in Brazil.
racismo que hierarquiza as pessoas, não só
It's a type of racism that creates an hierarchy and creates not just an hierarchy but an experience of what is to be Black.
divide quem é cidadão e
And
quem não é cidadão.
it comes to a point of who is a citizen and who is not a citizen, who gets the crumbs. It's distributed, the crumbs are distributed to the...
Com que a população não queira simplesmente se enxergar, mas isso está mudando mesmo, está mudando. A luta antirracismo na América como um todo, a nossa luta comum mudou localmente essa visão. Então, a partir do momento que as pessoas negras têm um potencial econômico e começam a se ver e começam a querer se construir imageticamente, isso vai mudando, né? Vai acessando direitos à universidade, direito à escola, direito ao trabalho, que são direitos, não são possibilidades aleatórias, né? São direitos. Então, isso vai mudando e tem mudado, apesar de muita dificuldade. Então, se você pega ancestralmente a luta e lembra de Lélia Gonzalez, de Abdias do Nascimento, do MNU, de pessoas que estão vivas aqui construindo politicamente ainda, dia a dia, isso sim é um motivo de orgulho, né? Se você pensa que essas referências negras, que apesar de pouco reconhecidas nacionalmente, elas tiveram um impacto internacional, você também tem orgulho disso. Mas não se trata só disso. Se trata de uma estrutura de uma luta antirracista que busca a cidadania plena tanto dentro dos estados, o que é um paradoxo, porque esses estados foram construídos a violência e com a extração da nossa mão de obra escravizada, mas também da ideia de cidadania do mundo, né? Internacional, porque a gente construiu, a gente como humanidade, né? Com muitas aspas, nós construímos essa ideia de que nós podemos ir para qualquer lugar, a qualquer tempo, né? Nós somos cidadãos do mundo, essa foi a ideia da globalização, mas infelizmente a gente não vê isso. Não vê isso com o direito à migração sendo barrado completamente. A gente não vê isso quando alguns lugares são acabados por conta do aquecimento global, por conta de destruições em massa, e essas pessoas simplesmente não têm como sair do próprio lugar. Então, não se trata só desse orgulho desses ancestrais, mas se trata de uma luta por futuro de uma cidadania plena, né? A quebra completa do Estatuto de Cidadão de Segunda Classe.
Thank you for that, Velluma. One important question that I had to ask in your opening salvo, you spoke to us about the fact that in Bahia, which many of us may not know, but Bahia is one of the largest states of Brazil in terms of geographic size as well as in terms of demography. But it is, and as well in terms of the quantity of the population that belongs to the Negro race, having been descendants of Africa. And you're saying that you have never in the city of Salvador had a Black mayor. I don't know if you want to speak to us about that. How is that even possible in a city like Salvador to not have, in the history of Salvador, not have had a Black mayor? When you walk through the city of Salvador, you only see Black people. So how does that happen?
Isso é causado pela distorção da imagem que o racismo causa na população de Salvador, da população do Brasil e da população das Américas. É a distorção de quando se olha no espelho, se percebe nitidamente que não se falta vontade, não se falta perspectiva, se falta oportunidade, e essa oportunidade é retirada justamente porque o corpo importa, né? A cor do corpo que fala importa. Essas pessoas, obviamente, não vão voltar em seus semelhantes, porque não só se sentem menores, mas porque são minorizadas a cada momento, a cada instante, né? Quando Lélia vem trazer a história da colonização ibérica, e ela diz que os portugueses e os espanhóis têm uma hierarquia mínima, uma hierarquia minorizada, pormenorizada das pessoas, né? Até chegar no substrato negro, né, vindo dos mouros, né, pela relação que tenho com os mouros, é isso que ela quer dizer. Ela quer dizer que simplesmente esse ser negro tem um lugar na sociedade, um lugar da onde não se sai. É uma sociedade construída por castas, de fato. Não castas de direito, mas castas de fato. E essas pessoas sabem disso. Então, essa migalha de cidadania só pode ser dada pelo corpo branco, que é aquele que possui cidadania. E, mais uma vez, eu gosto de falar que isso está sendo quebrado paulatinamente com os movimentos antirracistas no estado da Bahia, na cidade de Salvador, no Brasil, e essa luta internacionalizada, né? Eu acho que existe aí essa união cultural que nós temos, não é apenas cultural no sentido da fala, no sentido da dança, no sentido da música, mas é cultural no sentido de resistir e de construir uma epistemologia de insurreição, né? De um pensamento de insurreição, um pensamento de pessoas que não vão morrer, de pessoas que vão resistir, vão continuar construindo. Então, esse é o grande paradoxo da cidade de Salvador, mas é a realidade crua da cidade de Salvador. Mas, então, isso vem mudando, mais uma vez. Nós temos 2 candidatas mulheres, negras, ao cargo, com muita dificuldade, porque existe todo o racismo estrutural que barra a entrada dessas mulheres no partido, mas barra muito mais a ascensão e o protagonismo dessas mulheres. Elas conseguiram quebrar isso e elas puseram o nome para jogo. Então, isso tem mudado porque nós não esquecemos da onde viemos, porque nós não esquecemos que existe aí um pacto de continuar construindo, apesar de tudo.
Thank you. And if we go across again to Haiti, Emmanuela, to bring you into the discussion, a question to you. Velluma spoke to us just a little while ago about the fact that that not only is there a difficulty for us to move forward as Black persons, but as well that we have 2 candidates from Bahia who are going to be running now for the elections, for the mayorship in Salvador. And 2 of these candidates are female. I know that you are feminists and activists for feminist rights. And here I am asking you, does it make a difference being female and Black? Is it more difficult to be female and Black than to just be Black?
Definitely, it is very, very difficult. And as we often commented, me and my colleague, like fellow feminists and activists, we have to fight so many fights. It's like even among those activists who are doing the anti-corruption movement with us, we are victims of discrimination. For example, I testified in front of the American Congress last year on the Petro-Caribbean case and the and the U.S. policy toward Haiti. And someone went on Facebook and said, well, she didn't represent me. There's no way in hell I'll pick a woman to do that. Like, it has to be a man. Why will a woman represent me? And I was so shocked. He said it on Facebook. He posted it on Facebook, but a lot of people have the same sentiment. And it's like, as a woman, you are less qualified. They have always to question your ability, your diploma, whether you deserve them, whether what you say is what you really think. It's always has to be like, okay, someone asked her to say this. Someone asked her to do this. It's not her doing it. It's someone else pushing her to do it. It's like, there has to be someone on your back telling you what to do, because as a woman, they don't expect you to be brilliant, to have position, to rule anything. Like, you have to be like, to follow, to help, to do the logistics, not to be the spokesperson. A lot of people still think this way. And the other problem is that as a woman, our body is like a battleground. They will attack us on our sexuality, our body, whether we are beautiful or not. They will never question whether some male activist or male politician is handsome or not. They don't really care about this aspect of his life of his career. But as a woman, they have to say, okay, she's not even beautiful. She could have been slimmer. So many comments that are based on the fact that you are a woman, and they don't do that. They don't do the same for your male counterparts. It's so hard. It's even harder. And there is also the
As
fact that
coisas ficam bem mais difíceis. E isso acaba mexendo também com as nossas inseguridades, acaba mexendo com o fato que a gente está trabalhando, a gente está se esforçando na cidade que, assim,
a guy, but as a woman, if they kidnap you, for example, the risk, the chances that you will end up being raped and killed are so much higher than it is for the male. They will probably keep them for a few days, get the ransom, and then free them. But as a woman, they really use your body. They have to really make it look like you lesser, and they have to prove something. Like it's so hard, and we're seeing it like the recent cases of insecurity, like kidnapping and all. Victims that yesterday, for example, it was such a hard day because a girl, she is 22, 21 or 22, and they kidnapped her, and her body was found among some trash. I don't know how to say it. And she was half naked with her legs wide open. I was seeing this picture. It was so disturbing on so many levels. And it's just us being women and being exposed to more dehumanizing like event or torture or act than a male colleague, a male fellow citizen. And even when we want to run for offices and things like this, the same women they used to say, okay, good job, you're such a good activist, well done. They are like, okay, be an activist, do that, but don't run for office because we don't want you as a Ministry of Interior. We don't want you as a Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The most you will get is Minister of Tourism or Minister of Women, because those, like, you won't have to manage a lot of money. You won't have that much power. So you can settle for those, but don't expect to be a prime minister all your life will be hell, like it happened in the past to a woman who was prime minister. And don't be too ambitious. And this is what they keep telling us. But the good thing is that there are so many strong women in Haiti who paved the way for us. And we feel like we can be who we want because other women made it before. And until like 60 years ago, we couldn't even vote as women. But now we can do it. We can be prime minister. We can be president. There has been a female president, even if she stayed in power for only 3 months. But it happened before. They broke the ceiling. So we know we can be who we want despite those acts of discrimination and the fact that they treat us less better than the male because we are living in a female body. But we love ourselves, and we don't let this make us like give up or anything.
Thank you for that, Emmanuela. I would like to invite persons who are joining us on Zoom and on Facebook that you can post your questions. You can post them either in English or in Portuguese. I'd like to thank Roberto and Carlos, who are our 2 interpreters, who are helping us with, with our linguistic challenges to ensure that we are understanding each other across the seas. Thank you very much for that intervention, Emmanuela. And I would also like to ask about racism in Haiti. For a country that has been independent for as long as it has, the first Black country to be independent, can you speak to me as to whether or not racism exists in Haiti? Does that happen at all?
What exists in Haiti is mostly colorism. There is a group of people, lighter skin, and mostly from Syria, who have like most of the economic power. And also sometimes people are treated better because their skin is lighter. it happened, and it's a source of problem in some cases for children in high school, in elementary school, because some teacher will treat their friends, their classmates who have lighter skin and more money better, because it's somehow associated to the amount of money you have. Like if you have, and there is one particular case that is really obvious. It's like in the capital in Port-au-Prince, when you go to the supermarket, it's very difficult to find one that is owned by a Black person. When I say Black, I mean dark skin. It always has to be some foreign descendant on the supermarket. And it's the same for most of the big economic facilities or companies. And we do face this colorism. You will see that in music videos, the artists, they will want to have light-skinned women because to them this is more attractive. But this is changing slowly in the cultural part. Like people are advocating for this, and they want people, women who look like the average Haitian in music videos, for example. This is changing a bit. We're seeing women with short hair, dark skin in music video now more often than it used to be. And it is believed that if you have lighter skin, you will have more opportunities, to the point that skin bleaching is a public health problem. So a lot of people used to bleach their skin. I mean, it is less common now because it's a conversation going on in the country. Some new media, like modern media, are raising the question. It's just something we don't want to talk about openly. So many people are trying to ignore it because, you know, just like race for racism, if you bring on the issue, they will think that you are the one who is racist. But still, slowly, some people are raising the issue and trying to have it to improve the situation so that people like young kids with darker skin don't feel like they are less than those with lighter skin. And hopefully one day economic opportunities will be more evenly distributed in the country so that not a group with some of a particular skin color has the means to invest and run the economy. So yeah, it has to be more fairly distributed, and people with black skin deserve like will have access to economic opportunities just like it is the way for the people with lighter skin.
Nice. We have a question that came in from our viewers to you, Emmanuela. How helpful is the international community in Haiti? And Haitian governments always being destabilized by imperial powers like the United States. I don't know if you want to speak to that. How helpful has the international community been to the situation in Haiti?
I think in many situations they have been helpful, for example, after disaster, but there is definitely a need to address the way the international community intervened in Haiti. So far, it has been more hurtful, like it brings more damage than good, because when, for example, foreign aid after disaster, it's a good thing that we get food, we get money after disaster because the people need it, but usually they will give it to corrupt officials. And not only the officials are corrupt, from what we are seeing on the ground, more and more people, like foreigners working in Haiti, are involved in some, activities that are not totally right. And so those people will use that money. They will mismanage it. They will use it to achieve their own goals. And at the end of the day, you will have foreign countries saying that, oh, we've helped Haiti, we gave millions of dollars, but nothing changed. But in fact, they know really well that they give this money to poor people, and this is not going to improve anything. So there is some kind of hypocrisy. At the same time, they are complaining of Haitian fatigue, like they have been here for so long trying to improve things, but it's not working. Well, they know very well that the approach is not always good. And sometimes they get too involved in our politics supporting government too much. For example, the actual president, he's indicted in a corruption scandal. Most of the population is asking him to resign, but the general sentiment is that foreign countries, the international community is supporting him. Some countries try to show that they are with the people, not with that particular elected official, but the people do not really believe it because the history of the relation between Haiti and the international community is not an easy one. We've been colonized by the United States, France, and the same people are helping us now. We still need reparation for the independence debt that we paid to France, for example, and it's not happening like this. So sure they help, but not always in the best way, and they do not always support Haiti's best interests.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Emmanuela. Velluma, temos uma pergunta de Anderson Henrique Gonçalves dos Santos. Velluma, boa noite. Gostaria de ouvir seu pensamento sobre a categoria político-cultural da americanidade elaborada por Leila Gonzalez para a restituição da cidadania de pessoas negras no espaço nacional e a formação de redes americanas transnacionais. Agradeço.
Agradeço a pergunta, porque a gente volta na ideia de ancestralidade, rememorando essa grande ativista que é a Lélia Gonzalez, né? A americanidade para Lélia Gonzalez somos nós, né? É a constituição dessa tessitura cultural, sociocultural e econômica na América que nos une justamente por conta de coisas que a Emmanuela acaba de
because of things that Emmanuela just said, because of racism that passes the black body, racism that is international. When you don't have white elites inside the country that can help finance, there's glass ceiling. I say glass ceiling because we can see where we want to reach as black people, but when we want to reach, we are cast down by the glass, by the glass roof, by the economic society. Because of this international treatment to the countries in America that doesn't construct an elite of black bodies, that's when we need to start understanding ourselves as one people. We need to put down this idea of national authority because this nation idea suffocates us. We need to construct a similar experience that is going to help us build an alternate experience. We are American Africans. Me, Emmanuela, Heather, we all American Africans. Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, Brazil. This doesn't make our difference, make our experience different. And so we can build a similar future. If we don't understand this similar past, we can build a better future. It seems that something that if we don't organize things, we'll eventually get to the place where we want to. But we have to organize. If we don't organize, we won't get to the place where we want to be. We have to organize ourselves politically and through the laws. We know that they're fictions, but through these fictions, we can break down this glass roof. We can build in cracks into that glass roof and eventually break that glass roof. So that idea of American Africanity is a social study that you can apply into international relations. And that is very true to what Emmanuel was saying. And we can give an example. because we had a white president that is a woman, but we have the levels of discrimination, and to bring violence to the experience of a president who's a woman. They built various violations of the body of a president, of a woman president, where she had her open legs and suggesting a violence to her body. And they were suggesting violence to that area of her body, of raping. Uh, so I'm going to tell you what is the experience of a black woman in Brazil that was for a lot of time just seen as a body, a place, uh, uh, a place that was built through making that body erotic, just for erotic reasons. Uh, that black children are not up to something, they're not going to grow into something. And we want to break that image in the society completely.
E à medida que ninguém quer saber quem você é, quais são as qualidades que você construiu durante a vida, mas acreditam que só por te ver vai entender todo o seu completo, sua totalidade. Então é algo extremamente perigoso, é peculiar e não se pode dizer que não existe, não se pode negar em nenhum momento.
So my question to you then is, what is the hope for us as Black persons in this part of the world? When do you see us being able to move forward and reclaim what it means to be Black, reclaim our body, reclaim our citizenship? Is there any hope for us to have that at all?
Should I?
You can, while the interpreters are helping Velluma to understand the question. Sure.
I'll wait for Velluma to even if I have some technical problem and I can't really understand the translation, but it's okay.
Entendeu, dona Velluma?
Não entendi não.
Não.
Não vi.
Tá. A pergunta seria, qual é a chance da gente ter essa possibilidade de reclamar realmente o nosso corpo negro e a nossa cidadania? Existe essa chance? Você está vendo lá no horizonte?
Sim, sempre. Eu não poderia não ver isso no horizonte e ser mãe, por exemplo. A decisão de ser mãe é porque vejo isso no horizonte. Não vejo nenhuma forma um horizonte decrépito, sem nenhum tipo de esperança. E, obviamente, uma esperança que é construída ao longo do tempo, é construída diariamente, é construída num trato conosco, né? E eu acho que essa ligação que nós estamos construindo de Trinidad e Tobago e Brasil, e que vem acontecendo durante esses últimos anos, reflete isso, a construção desse futuro com diálogo das experiências de insurreição que nós tivemos, e como nós podemos trabalhar os institutos jurídicos, sociológicos, econômicos ao nosso favor, né? As expressões das desigualdades são inúmeras, né? São transnacionais, mas nós também somos transnacionais. Então, a nossa luta sempre foi transnacional, né? Eu lendo Pichon, que é a biografia do Dr. Carlos Mu, que inclusive já deu aula nessa universidade, você percebe como ele teve que lutar internacionalmente e como se essa luta já era sempre construída dessa forma, internacional. Como as grandes lideranças negras se encontravam em diversas partes do mundo, se chocavam, divergiam, construíam outros pensamentos. Então, não dá para a gente dar passo atrás agora e achar que nós vamos fazer isso apenas nos nossos territórios. São essas iniciativas que buscam a comunicação que fazem com que a gente se construa, né, como um corpo político
similar something, a body that is dense, a black body that is dense and with power of choosing. We have to build our black power. Have to build
das nossas crianças, né, dos nossos mais velhos. Entender isso também é entender de que campo civilizatório nós viemos. Será que é uma competição entre homens e mulheres? Será que é isso que nós queremos? Como nós nos entendemos como mulheres nessa diáspora? Né? Quais foram nossos papéis e aqueles que nós queremos quebrar completamente, mas aqueles que queremos preservar, né? Então, esse o trabalho. Não sou fatalista de modo nenhum, mas você construir algo diferente, necessariamente você tem que estudar o que é realmente. Você não pode maquiar, você tem que ver e escrutinar o quanto o racismo pode ser perverso. E aí, assim, entender que o trabalho é árduo, ele é perene, mas ele pode ser, sim, vitorioso. Existem muitas lutas no mundo, né? Nós não vamos arregar agora, vamos continuar trabalhando.
Vamos sim. Emmanuela, would you like to offer your solution? How do we move forward from here? How do we get to reclaim this Black body and this Black citizenship that we all hope and aspire to?
I think there is definitely hope that we will move from this and achieve like more greatness as Black people, as Black citizens. I think we can leverage what we went through, our past, our victories, our defeats as well. And we also need to connect to other Black citizens who are like living the same experience as we are. For example, I think this is a really big problem. I am not connected, like when I say I am not, like most Haitians are not connected to other Black citizens in St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Trinidad, anywhere in the Caribbean, or even Brazil. There is such a huge disconnect. And it's the same thing for the diaspora, like Black people living in Africa. And if we want to achieve something that is good for all of us, we need to have more like spaces like this to exchange, to learn from each other, to share our experience, because a Haitian need to stop being a citizen that other Black people see the way it shows in the press, without any empathy, without any understanding on what it really means to be Haitian. And like, I don't expect a Black living in Trinidad to see me as Haitian the way some American press or French journal is portraying me. So I want us to have our own space to learn from each other, to acquire new skill and to have common goals that we somehow will achieve. And I also think that we need to put forward more of the beauty that is linked to our body as Black people, our culture, all that make us unique. And at the end of the day, we are unique, we are powerful. We are not only like, we do not only have scars from slavery and colonialism. We carry so much beauty and we have so much to offer to the world. And we need to be proud of this and make it even better.
Right. Thank you for that. We have Siron Privat, who has sent a question to you, Emmanuela. Has the situation changed regarding the Black upper class following the will of the United States through NGOs that don't care for the Black ordinary Haitians?
Can you say it again, please?
Has the situation changed regarding the Black upper class following the will of the United States of America through NGOs that don't care for the Black ordinary Haitians?
For the Black ordinary Haitians?
Haitians, yes. For the ordinary Haitians, has this view changed at all?
I don't think it has changed. I don't think it has changed. Very, very few things change in terms of point of view and perspective. I think it's still the same situation from the past few years. No real improvement. But I do think that we might see more changes in the future, because there is like the global movement, like Black Lives, or one Black life in general, is kind of affecting us in a positive way, because, and I think this might bring up some changes. But as for now, no big improvement to
No big improvement. And to Velluma, a question from an anonymous attendee. Do Black people in Brazil feel erased with the narrative portrayed to the international community? Whenever Brazil is spoken of or displayed to me, Black bodies are often not present or represented.
Uhum. Assim, então não são vistas. Não são vistas como cidadãos, não são vistas como objeto de diversão, né? O pouco que é vista é a partir dessa imagem da diversão. E por isso eu trouxe a imagem da mulher erotizada negra, né? Do menino de recado, que é um menino negro, do homem que carrega as malas, é um homem negro. Então, são objetos para serem usados no turismo, mas não são cidadãos do país, né? Não são vistos desta forma. É muito diferente do racismo anglo-saxão, que divide e aparta completamente pessoas negras de pessoas brancas, construindo mundos paralelos que se cruzam quando existe essa oportunidade para as pessoas brancas. O que tem aqui é que cada um tem um lugar. Não existe um não lugar, existe um lugar. Existe um lugar, inclusive, decrépito para pessoas negras, mas existe um lugar. Existe o lugar do trabalho menos valorizado, pouco valorizado, mal remunerado. Não é que essas pessoas estão fora do sistema. Todos nós temos um lugar nesse país, um lugar subalterno, né? Um lugar de não fala. Então, é o que está posto, né? É exatamente o que está posto. Você fez uma pergunta para a Emmanuela sobre a importância da luta antirracista nos Estados Unidos, e aqui também influencia porque os Estados Unidos basicamente coloniza psicologicamente a América Latina, né? Mas nós não temos aqui o sistema econômico sequer parecido com os Estados Unidos, né? Então, nós não temos aqui a concentração econômica nas mãos de algumas pessoas negras, nós não temos. Temos até pessoas simbolicamente importantes, politicamente importantes, mas do ponto de vista econômico, isso é praticamente invisível. Então, essa filantropia entre negros há uma grande dificuldade, porque nós temos um lugar na sociedade, e qual é esse lugar? De subalterno, daquele que está dentro do sistema econômico, mas para receber bem pouco, bem menos. Mas existe aqui uma solidariedade, uma construção de uma solidariedade quilombola em muitos lugares, né, que não perpassa por dar dinheiro, mas perpassa pela ideia de trabalhar em conjunto. Né? A modernização das cidades quebra isso, tenta quebrar isso, tenta trazer o individualismo, mas os terreiros de candomblé são lapsos temporais que ainda preservam esse tipo de coisa. Os quilombos em zonas rurais também são lapsos territoriais que preservam esse tipo de entrosamento entre pessoas negras, de solidariedade, de construir em conjunto. Quilombos urbanos também são. Então, em oposição ou em diferenciação à questão americana de pessoas que têm riqueza e que distribuem ou que são filantrópicos, nós temos aqui uma tessitura de solidariedade em alguns lugares, em alguns sistemas, né? E que eu acho importante citar.
Thank you. We have one more question to you, Velluma. Brazil has had a much later emancipation from slavery than many of the other colonies which ran the slave trade. Do you ever reflect on your close proximity to the slave trade?
Sim. Sim. Foram mais de 300 anos de escravidão no Brasil. E isso é tentar apagar isso da história, assim, constantemente, diariamente, porque a impressão que os mais novos têm é que isso se passou há muito tempo atrás, quando não é verdade. São menos de 130 anos de abolição, falta total de políticas públicas de emancipação dessa população escravizada. Falo isso. E nós temos há 10 anos, um pouco mais, talvez, a lei de cotas para serviço público, não mais que isso, né? Atitude dos quilombolas de construção, de entendimento que os quilombolas têm pertencimento do território também não tem 10 anos, não tem 20 anos. Então, são coisas muito, muito frescas ainda. Se eu for ver os meus antepassados, o meu tataravô tem relação direta com a escravidão na ilha de Taparica. Né? O tataravô foi ontem. E esses resquícios estão até hoje. A desconstrução disso tudo exige estudo, exige política para isso. Né? Então, essa reflexão é realmente diária. Quando a gente tem a brutalidade da violência policial, o entendimento desse policial de que um corpo negro pode ser violado a qualquer momento e que um corpo negro masculino é reflexo de violência, e aí você tem meninos negros, estudantes, que nada tem a ver com a violência do lugar, sendo mortos a tiros, a queima-roupa, e simplesmente não há grandes investigações com isso. Isso é reflexo da escravidão, da construção desse corpo negro completamente desvalorizado.
Right. Thank you so much. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Black Consciousness Festival to say thank you to you two ladies for having joined us tonight. It was a pleasure, indeed, a pleasure to talk to you. We expect that we will have future opportunities to speak to you and to others about some of the topics that we are discussing here in the Black Consciousness. So I would like to say thank you to Velluma Azevedo, coming out of Bahia in Brazil, and as well to Emmanuela Douyon, coming out of Haiti. I would also like to invite the public to our next conversation. Our next conversation will take place on Thursday the 5th. It will be 7 p.m. in Trinidad and Tobago, 8 p.m. in Brazil, 6 p.m. in the Eastern United States. And we're going to be discussing lyrics to make a politician cringe, the power of Black music. We will have David Rudder from Trinidad and Tobago, together with Jelani Shaw, also of Trinidad and Tobago, and Don Chicla from Brazil. So we look forward to seeing you on Thursday at 7 p.m. as we discuss music and the power that Black people have in the music industry. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight, and I wish you all the best. Continue to look out for us on Facebook, on YouTube, and we can be found as well on the internet, www.theblackconsciousnessfestival.com. Thank you.
Thank you.